What's the dumbest thing you've ever heard someone say? I remarked that it's odd that we associate rabbits with eggs for Easter. I jokingly said we should make it an Easter platypus because unlike rabbits they lay eggs. Then someone overheard this and said wait. No. Rabbits do lay eggs. Double quote. This turned into a 2-minute argument over whether or not rabbits lay eggs. And then when she finally accepted that she was wrong, she was so irritated that she asked all of her co-workers if they thought the same as her. To the best of my knowledge she's the only one. Work at a hotel. Guest asked why there was no 4th of July parade or any fireworks in town. We were in Australia. My ex worked on Sydney Harbour cruises back in 1988. Australia's bicentennial year. She had a boat full of USA tourists who she described as absolutely polite. Kind and tipped well. But one did ask how often do you have these bicentennials? They're really neat. Double quote. A few years ago leading up to the Great American Eclipse a co-worker overheard us discussing it and said y'all don't actually believe in that shit, do you? I figured he misunderstood whatever we were talking about and thought we were talking about mysticism or something regarding the eclipse, but no, he followed up with don't you know if the moon went into the sun it would melt. That's why the eclipse can't be real. Double quote. I genuinely felt like humanity should probably start over from scratch after that. That chickens have no brains. Not that they are stupid. That a chicken literally does not have a brain. I had a neighbor who was sharing a similar theory about geckos after performing the very scientific procedure of ripping one open with pliers. It's been proven that if you dream about falling and hit the ground in your dream you will die in your sleep. Double quote. Yeah? If someone dies in their sleep, how do you know what they were dreaming? I've had that dream. Survived like a boss. Only bad thing is I fell out of bed on impact. That Japan was the capital of Australia. We share a time zone but that's about it. Blue fire is cold. Okay. Put your hand in it. It's not cheating if you don't love the person. I felt the pain from here. At a sushi place in Dallas, a large middle-aged man at another table shouted, "God damn those Japs don't FCK around with their guacamole." Double quote. I remember the first time I had sushi rolls with wasabi. I spread it like guacamole. You couldn't even see the rice underneath. The whole restaurant got a good laugh out of my misery. The stupid part. I was warned. When I pointed out to a co-worker that a person who actually was modest wouldn't brag about how modest they are. How would people know that I'm modest if I don't tell them? Double quote. I honestly would have assumed it was a joke. I think I give too many people the benefit of the doubt. Someone once said, "But I don't want to put the bag of aquatic snails inside the fish tank. They might drown." Double quote. That someone was me. Past me is dumb. I can see how you could come to this conclusion though. Not knowing aquatic snails have a type of gill. They might live in the water but go up for air like some animals. This is the last dumb thing in this thread so you should be proud. How do they know which moon to put out? Double quote. They store them in order. But if they get them mixed up you just check which one they used yesterday and use the next one. What a dummy. You have vertigo? Isn't vertigo that place where the planes get lost? No. That's where'd it go. Sorry for the confusion. Why is there a deersing sign? It's too dangerous for deer to cross the road. It's good that it's a picture of a deer because they can't read. A high school student asked if Obama was president of the world. Doesn't get more American than thinking that. I was boiling some eggs and was talking to my sister on what pain it was because I could never peel them good. She then asked me why I didn't just peel the eggs before boiling them. Edit. Y'all set me on egg hacks for life. They're all extraordinarily so, thank you guys. Hey, she's just trying to teach you how to make poached eggs. The spork is the devil's utensil because it is the amalgamation of the masculine fork and the feminine spoon and is trying to blur gender lines in society. This reads like a quality shitpost. I approve. Just because math is in a book doesn't make it true. She was a college student. I mean, she's not technically wrong, but something tells me she was still wrong. Asia was a country in China. This reminds me of a show that used to come on A&E in the early 2000s. It was about ancient civilizations, may have been hosted by Bill Curtis. But I'm hazy on the memory of that. One episode was about ancient Egypt and the narrator said, Egypt, which is located next to Africa. I'll never forget it because me and my GF at the time were on the phone and she heard that part too. It became an inside joke between us. Y'all really gonna make me remember the time my co-worker thought Willy Wonka was a real person and wondered how much money he was making on nerds and gobstoppers. Was Benjamin Button based on a true story? I mean, it was truly based on a fictional story by F. Scott Fitzgerald. If I swallow will I get pregnant? Double quote. No. But be careful where you spit. China is its own continent because the people who live there are called Chinese. And we are Oklahomans. Did I miss the memo where we became a continent? Double quote. Most Oklahomans can be confused for continents. My American friend on Xbox says The Purge is real. I then had the most painful conversation with this kid about how it's fake. Man, this kid must have freaked every time he heard sirens on Mayo. This requires some backstory. I went to a really prestigious New England private school on scholarship for high school. So most of my classmates were insanely wealthy. I was waiting for a class to start one day and the guy sitting behind me was complaining to a friend that the milkman was late that morning so he didn't get to eat breakfast. I, like any normal person, turned around and asked him what he meant by milkman. Apparently the town he lived in, very wealthy, was serviced by a local dairy. So they got fresh milk delivered every day. I must have been looking at him like he had 3 heads because he proceeds to ask me in complete seriousness, well, where do you get your milk? And the worst part is that because my middle class friends weren't in this class with me, I ended up looking like the weird one for getting my milk from the F-King grocery store. Is the 4th of July on the 14th or 15th? My ex-boyfriend asked me that. He has no excuse. He's from California. 14th of July is France's national holiday. Having a baby with my boyfriend will make our relationship better. Double quote. Why do people assume having children will help with a relationship? Do they not know how hard it is to care for a child? Not to mention how the father has to take extra care of the mother while she hasn't given birth yet. I mean, sure, it makes people happy, but it is still up to them and how their relationship was so far to see if it improves or degrades. Masks are dangerous because we shouldn't be breathing in our own carbon monoxide. I can't help but think that if I hadn't been wearing a mask so much in the last 10 days or so, I really wonder if I would have gotten it. Rep. Louis Gomant, Texas. On testing positive for COVID-19. If you're an atheist, that means you're not allowed to use the Roman calendar because it was invented by Christians. Double quote. The only thing I have to say to this is only Greeks are allowed to stay on the globe Earth. I can't wait to grow up me. I'm in this comment and I don't like it. Are you pregnant? Double quote. I was a skinny girl in 5th grade when a guy asked me this out of nowhere. As bad as when at the age of 8 my cousin passed out on the bus and her doctor actually asked my aunt if she might be pregnant. She hadn't even hit puberty yet. Wasn't long after that she had her first period. Her new doctor figured that changing in her hormones is what may have caused her to black out, but sheesh. There are 3 types of Asians. Chinese, Japanese and Asians. Double quote. I don't know why the repeating of Asians makes me laugh so much. I don't believe in evolution cause if we did evolve then why aren't we still evolving? Edit. I should add. This was in a year 11, 15-16 years old, elective science class. And you say well obviously your family is not. My 19-year-old American brother. Is America a country? Double quote. Edit. This is just in case you're confused. But my brother was referring to the United States of America. He asked me if the US was a country. He wasn't talking about North and South America. That's mildly concerning. Friend shared that he thought women were like chickens. One day a month we would sit on a toilet all day and lay an egg. I knew a guy in college that thought women kept a tampon in all the time like a plug. Then once a month when we got full we take the tampon out and empty our periods out. Then put the tampons back in to plug it up again. I learned this when a classmate was complaining that her period was supposed to start over spring break when she was going to the beach, and he was like, just take your tampon out early and empty before you go. Learn to plan ahead. Buddy of mine was very drunk one night and asked me, where does the moon go during the daytime? It's honestly surprising how many people have never looked up and seen the moon during the day. That injecting bleach would treat COVID-19. Wow, that person sounds like a real moron. Sure hope they don't have any big responsibilities. Imagine if someone in a position of power thought that. Can't we just exterminate all bacteria and viruses so we can't get sick anymore? Apostrophe. Literally heard someone say this in microbiology class. Microbiology class. The point of the class is to learn. Am I wrong? Why aren't we boarding the plane yet? 3 feet of snow on the ground. That would be a fair question in Minnesota. We rarely ground planes for snow. For the context, English is not a common language in my country. I was angry at something and my siblings were trying to signal each other to distract me from situation. I was sitting on my bed and my sis was standing 1 feet away from me shouting to brother in other room in English instead of our native language so I won't find out what they were saying. My sis is doing PhD. This might not be seem stupid, but it's because I am a major in English literature. Honestly man. There's a different candidate every day these days. You'd think there was a stupid contest going on. My mom said her new Mac was a waste of money because it didn't have Internet Explorer, so how was she supposed to do anything? Double quote. Imagine still using Internet Explorer. Wait, how could they castrate a 8-year-old? He wouldn't have his balls yet. My friend. A 18-year-old male who vastly misunderstood what people meant when they say your balls dropped. No. I don't know how he never noticed that he had balls before puberty. Masks don't work, that's why they told us not to wear them at first. They want us to wear them now because they realize the lack of oxygen will make us dumb and we'll listen to wherever they say. Double quote. Have they ever been to a hospital? Also, a doctor literally put on like 6 or more masks at once and his oxygen level didn't change. Apparently masks only make you overheat and it makes you think you are lacking air. Me. Accidentally said 1 + 1 is 3. At work. At a banking job. Not retail. Commercial. In 5th grade I was being stubborn to a teacher about a dumb policy. And a suck-up said not to talk back. I say. Is it wrong to want to know things? And she said yes. I don't get it. 5G causes coronavirus. Oh yeah. Well, what virus does it cause then? Smart guy. Who is Thomas Edison? My 30-year-old American friend who is a professional engineer. No. She wasn't joking. I hope you change the subject to Nikola Tesla. Because that other motherfucker needs to languish in obscurity like the shitstin Elon Musk that he is. I say good on your dumb friend for not knowing. If you could adopt a child from a third world country, which country would you choose and why? I would choose Alaska. Because it's really cold there. A member of the prom court being asked a random question on our school's live news show that was being broadcasted out to every homeroom. At McDonald's. Oh, it's much cheaper here than in the Apple store. A Big Mac for only $6. I heard a Karen say once that the UV rays of the sun are a hoax so that people get scared and go to the hospital so that the hospitals can make millions. I then lost hope in people. This happened just a year ago. Just go see the Arzonator. As stalker of ATA I can testify to this. A guy said his girlfriend was cheating because she dressed up nice for Zoom meeting her boss. Then got upset that people were commenting on his TikTok career, which hasn't started. I think I once said England is in London. I probably know more about politics than anyone in our family. My 17-year-old sister 6 months into a government class. She might be right tbh. That is peak political knowledge for a lot of people. A woman came into the ice cream shop without a mask. When we told her she had to leave because she didn't have one, she said, "I'll just go to another one." This would be fine if every single restaurant in town didn't have the same rule. Like, no. You aren't gonna go to a different shop. That you can get pregnant by a demon and God controls Facebook servers, which will be shut down immediately. I was actually the dumb person. Sadly, I was at a friend's house and couldn't remember if I left the hair straightener or oven on at home, and I asked my friend, "What if there's a fire? The door's locked so my cats won't be able to get out." Yeah. I believed for at least 30 seconds that cats could open doors. Wait, is it just me or do meteors always land in craters, said the smartest guy in my class. In April this year, no. Coronavirus is declining. Give it a week or two and everything is back to normal. It became an inside joke. Every time he talks I try to prove he doesn't know what he's talking about. An English girl to me. An American. Who has more history? England or America? Also, my uncle on Christmas 2014 or 2015. Obama's gonna take away all our guns so ISIS can invade and take over us all. Double quote. I mean, that English girl might be trying to mock you.